Joe Soy, Joe Soy. Yo, so today here we are back. We are back with another Gen Dive. Um, Trying to get some coordination and structure together, but we are back with another Gen Dive episode. This episode will be about 8 ways previous generations failed us. I say Gen X, how they failed us. Did they fail us? And obviously, this is no slander, just clickbait, right? Um, Trying to get some interactions and some traffic going over just off you seeing that. But obviously, we will present some 8 of the say some failures or challenges that 8 ways that we've been challenged through the previous generations decisions and choices, and pretty much just the decisions and choices that they did not make, or the ones that they did make that became a detriment to us at this day and age. So let me see. I might as well pull it up on the. They might be on seeing what they do. I'm about to pull it up on Instagram so we can have a little bit extraness. Agenda. Yeah, man, them comments wide open. Comments wide open. Wide open. We about to go in. Uh-oh. Here we go. So, like I said, episode 5, the virtual. This is the Gen Dive, Generational Diversity Talk. We're going to be speaking on 8 ways previous generations failed us. And as always, we like to thank StreamYard. This video, its stream service is powered by StreamYard. And thanks YouTube. We got IG going right now. So we're going to thank IG too. And also thank my wife and my kids just for, like I said, allowing me to be able to do this and give me a purpose for doing this. So we jump right in, So have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what did we inherit from the generations previous or before us? How are we going to shape what comes next? Like we talked about this in previous conversations. You check the first couple of videos I spoke on the generation before us, their privileges, and obviously the privileges that we have now. But as a millennial, born in 1990, I often wrestle with that question. The truth is, every generation builds a legacy, and in which, for better or for worse, today, just to be honest, I want to have this honest conversation. The generations before us might have fallen short a little bit. We've talked about it. Appreciate it, brother. We talked about it in times with my close friend circle, and I'm not about to get into it right now. I probably have to bring on another person so that we can talk about it together, and it's not just, oh, Kyle thinks this way or Barnaby thinks this way. But basically, we just want to talk about this and see how we can avoid repeating the same mistakes for our kids and our generations that's coming down after us. So let's start by unpacking the challenges handed down to us by previous generations. So I said the title is 8 ways, but let's start with the first one, a rigid definition of success. So basically, success was presented as a narrow checklist: go to college, land a stable job, buy a home, start a family. Now, by all means, like, that is success. Like, straight up, our parents took care of us off of that principle. Like, at one point, I would call it the standard. I want to say basic or content, but pretty much the standard. Whether if you have a family or a home or not, you pretty much wanted to get those standard kit items: that home, car, and family. All those things. After you go to college, you land a stable job. But the dilemma that we have in the generations now is that there are so many more opportunities than choosing to go directly to college, or saying that I want to purchase a home, or even find a job or working for someone, and then even to the extent of saying you want to have a family. A lot of the generation now, they're not looking into having a family or having kids or getting married. So guess the generations before, I mean, like I said, is a standard. That's why we're here. That's how we gotten here off of that standard. And it worked in that time. Today's world is a little different, like I mentioned. So, back then, baby boomers grew up in an era where a single income household could afford a home. And today, many of us struggle with, student debt and rising housing costs and just inflation in general. So pretty much that success blueprint or that success version isn't really as attainable as it is today if you're not going into those niche industries or pretty much spending a lot of time in education and university. So that's number one, the rigid definition of success. Number two, hey, again, this is 8 previous generations, 8 ways previous generations failed us. And I say failed, like I said, clickbait, get some, get the older generation up in arms and getting them throwing their hands up and doing a hissy fit. But they're not really failures, honestly. It's just the way in time, the day and the times that they lived in. So number 2 would be the fear of challenging authority. What I got here, it says, many older generations subscribe to the idea of keeping your head down and playing it safe. Take the civil rights movement, for example. While it was led by bold individuals, there were many who remained silent out of fear of retaliation. This hesitation left systemic problems for future generations to confront. Now, again, I'm probably going to have to invite some of my circle, tight circle members, and we can expand on that portion of it, like the fear of challenging authority. I don't think it's right to challenge authority in which, I say lineage wise, to a child to an adult, that's disrespectful. You got to respect your elders. Now, as far as challenging the fear of challenging authority, even us millennials, we were raised, I was about to say we were raised right, but we was raised by Generation X. So in that case, we have respect for our elders. We were pretty much taught to don't question me. There wasn't much of explanation when we were told to do things. Just do it. We didn't have a thought of saying why back then. So like that is something that we kind of challenge with as millennials. But as we see the Generation Z, I love them. I absolutely love them, because with them, I would say challenge authority, but I think they want to know, why are we doing this? And in that case, it's a valid question. They're empowered to do so. They're empowered to ask that question, or just even ask, what's next before I even get into doing anything. They want to know the entire blueprint of what the task or what the exercise might be. And, like for us millennials, some millennials, we still, like I said, we still practice that do as I say, not as I do. Don't question me. No back talk. Because we will get our ass beat. So shout out to Gen Z for standing on their own. And I guess it all goes in a cycle, by them coming out of the civil rights movement. There were some privileges and some challenges along with that route, but I'll leave that for another day, talking about the civil rights and how the generations, what does it say? I mean, literally here, they kind of hesitated to confront the, authority, in the sense where it wasn't child to adult. It was literally peer to peer. It's just different skin color. And then with that, it's almost as if inferior or feeling like the other group is superior and that you should be inferior to them. So we'll get into that another day, but that's number 2. Number 3, workaholism is a virtue. As a virtue, says the hustle culture many of us despise was normalized by generations that equated long hours with success. For instance, Gen X prided themselves on being the first in and last out at work. But this mindset often came at the expense of family time and mental health. Man, I think every last one of these steps that can have its own conversation and panel discussion in regards to each of these ways that they failed us. And again, they didn't fail us. They raised us. I mean, shit, they succeeded in raising us and having us, us being able to even do this right here. Like, if they didn't take care and work so hard, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to, go to the colleges and have the exposure that I did, so that I'm, able to, just have certain outlooks on life. But ultimately, being a workaholic does, and it did, prevent some family time, prevent some mental health growth, or just conversations and love being cultivated just by having the notion that I love you because I do for you, or I love you because I have to go to work. So therefore, my love is going to be shown through me taking care of you. And as we've known now, like, we're getting the butt end of that shit, man, like 100%. When dealing with our own families that we're building, we're having to merge two backgrounds, two upbringings, bring them together. And we come from two different backgrounds, but it's still based off of that workaholism mindset, to where if we're not working 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 plus hours a week, then we're having opportunities to be with our family more. And, for me, I work from home. My wife works from home. She's hybrid. I've been working from home for the last 5 years. So for me, it's been pretty crazy to be able to watch my children grow, be there for them, be able to pick them up, do those things. And not only that, like, mold my day around them, and the jobs nowadays. I mean, with my roles that I've had, they pretty much, they didn't mind. It was almost as if it was expected for you to have some sense of family, and then saying, hey, I have responsibilities outside of my job, so therefore what's most important is family. So back then, not so much the case. They work jobs where the demand was there. I remember as a kid, we used to have to call the manager's office, or just let's say if they worked at a retail store, we had to actually call the store. Hey, can I speak to Lynette or speak to Ty? And then it's like, all right, 1 second, see if they're available. Mom, pick up the phone. You get your ass cursed out if it ain't nobody dying, ain't nobody, hurting or nothing like that. So it's hard for them to grasp around the work from home, or even just the fact of, hey, I'm not going to be working all day. My family's more important than working 16-hour days just for me to ultimately say, hey, I don't know my kids, or I don't help out around the house, even though, just because I'm working or whatnot. Like I say, by all means, what works for you works for you. What's up with you, April? But yeah, what works for you and yours. So it doesn't really matter. We're just having a conversation about how the previous generation might have failed us. In this case, some of us carry over some of the traits that our parents taught us, or we seen, and we think that that's okay, and we think that that's right, but it's not. Love conquers all. Being away just because you got to take care of bills and pay for clothes and all that stuff. No, that I want the love. I'd rather us not have no big home. I'd rather us to have Walmart clothes or Goodwill clothes. That means that you're spending time with me more as a child growing up. So say they failed us, but they pretty much gave us an opportunity to be better. No, 100%, 100%. Got April here. I don't have any comments. She's on Instagram. She's saying, I think each generation is getting better with family dynamics and values. And I agree with that. I think personally, hey, man. I'm gonna get to that next comment, but yeah, personally, just my outlook on what you said as far as getting better with family dynamics and values. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of meditation, and then obviously, if you don't know me, I feel like I'm connected to the world. I feel like I'm connected to the universe, and it's more so of a knowing of this type of connection. So with me knowing that I'm able to do a little more deep dive into myself and realizing that I am not just me. I am my ancestors. I am my mom. I am my dad. I am all 5,000 ancestors that it took to make me this single person. I have all their DNA in me, and also I have all my future children, all their future great grandchildren inside of me, or already conceived and outliving. So with that, like what she said, getting better with dynamics and values. Epigenetics is something that I've had to learn in regards to, I think mom or dad might have used the statement of an addictive nature. A parent might have an addictive nature, and then it passes off to the child, which is understood. The same with let's say prostate cancer that runs through the family. That's understood. So if we already have agreed to those things, then we can also agree to the fact that trauma is passed down, and avoiding that trauma just continues to. It's like what is it? It's a tradition. It's like a generational tradition to pass along that trauma without healing or even feeling it. Once that trauma happens, it's like, okay, I'm gonna push it in the back. I'm not gonna let this determine who I am, yet I'm never gonna heal from it. I'm just gonna keep it going, keep it closed mouth, take it to the grave, or try not to try not to feel it, honestly, just avoid there. And what happens is just generation after generation after generation, though it becomes a tradition of passing on trauma tradition. And this is me personally. I've chosen myself to get as much information that I know of my immediate family, mom, grandma, granddad, greats, all the ones that I'm familiar with throughout my current lifetime from the 90s on up. Get all the information, hear all the traumas, hear all the backstories, as much as they provide to me, and then realize that I have to live with that because these people have not healed themselves. The reason that I'm getting responses from particular family members is because of that non-healing or that non-feeling, or that just submerging in their work or submerging themselves in going and getting degrees and stuff without actually doing that self-work, that inner work, or feeling that trauma. And again, like, I'm privileged enough to say I didn't go through the things that my parents went through, or any of our parents have gone through. So by all means, I'm not trying to wipe over, say, hey, just put a Band-Aid over or put some Neosporin over it and it'll heal up. No, not at all. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we're able to acknowledge and feel those traumas or those challenges that parents, grandparents, uncles, aunties, if we're able to acknowledge those things for ourselves, say they're older, they've made it, they've raised us and plenty of other kids. So it's it's a lot to ask from them to change their life, which is still not too late. But for us, there is a responsibility for us to want to change the dynamics and the values moving forward. So we're not passing on trauma traditions. We're actually going into the love traditions. I promise to God, I understand how my dad can come home and tell me, hey, yeah, I'm not all this affection. I didn't get no affection. I didn't get that much affection growing up, but I knew that they loved me based off the things that they did, and which is great, like 100% great. But when does that stop? If I practice that same theory and we living in 2024 now, I'm not gonna have a wife. I'm not gonna have a relationship with my kids. I'm not gonna be able to be emotionally intelligent. I'm just gonna go head full of steam, just work, without identifying the fact that there's some inner work that I need to do. And April, she put another comment and say, people before us had nothing and wanted more materials, and we want love. We need love. I'm telling you, they needed love. They never got it. That's so true. And that goes back to the sermon we watched yesterday. That's still up. Y'all watched that video. It goes back to the material things. People believing that they're blessed because of the things that they have and the materials, but it's really who you have. And one more comment, she said, hearing stories made me have grace for my grandma. That shit was not normal. And yet here I am So she did something okay for generations later to arrive. Right. Yeah. Like, again, it's not to say like it's a complete failure. It's more to say, hey, y'all did what what y'all knew, right? I say they lied to us, but they didn't know they was lying. They thought all of that stuff was the truth. But being grown, they lied to us. I should have said 8 ways previous generation lied to us, not failed, lied to us. Because they did not fail us. It ultimately catapulted us to understanding the things that we want and what we lack. So number one, let's do a quick recap. Number one was a rigid definition of success. So go to college, land a stable job, buy a home, start a family. Number two, fear of challenging authority. So just playing it safe, keeping your head down, going to work. Number three, workaholism as a virtue. So, pride themselves on being first in, last out. And number four is the lack of financial literacy education. Excuse me. Number four, the lack of financial literacy education. How many of us was taught about credit scores, investments, or managing debt by our parents or schools? Likely very few. My wife, her mom, God bless her, rest in peace. I do believe, and it's kind of controversial me saying this, but she ended up helping my wife understand a lot before her transition. It's beautiful to me because a lot of things that I lacked, she did not lack. She was actually up on game from her mom, and unfortunately, her mom transitioned, before she turned 21. But for the most part, that's one out of let's say all the football teams I played on. None of the guys that I played on the football team knew anything about managing debt or credit scores or, just any of those things. So that's a real deal. And I know how I was taught about credit was don't get none. Like, don't get no credit. Don't get no credit card. Don't get none. Don't get no credit. And that's all they knew. Like I said, they lied to us. Ultimately, they were lying, but it was the truth to them. You get what I'm saying? And I'm saying they were lying because now that I look back on it, it's almost like everything we were taught was a lie. But they were lied to in the sense where they thought it was the truth. They thought it was true. Hey, don't get a credit card. Don't get in debt. Don't manage your funds like this. Don't save here. Don't put your money in the bank. Don't do all these things. Like, come on now. This gap of knowledge has left many millennials ill prepared for today's financial challenges. And I mean, for me, just personally, like, I didn't understand the value of a dollar at all. And to be honest, I didn't ask for much. I didn't need much. I was provided everything. And if I wanted to ask for something, I'm pretty sure I would have got it. I was an athlete. So a lot of my gifts or shoes and like drip or whatever, it would be for athletic purposes. I wasn't a kid to ask for a certain pair of shoes. Hell, I want a certain pair of cleats. So it's a dual purpose type of thing. My mom and dad, they're going to take care of my shoes, take care of my clothes. I want this particular bat. Oh, as soon as I ask for anything sports-wise, I get it. Like I say, birthdays, Christmas and stuff, I get it. But as far as like me knowing that you got to pay rent at the end of the month or pay a mortgage or pay light bills or car notes or hell, I had no idea the value of a dollar growing up. I didn't. I mean, not to say that they failed us by not speaking on it, because I'm sure they had a tough time learning and growing as young adults with small children. And from those stories that I've learned and heard, it's understood that, like I said, it's what's true to them, what was true to them at that time. They weren't as knowledgeable. So playing it safe, head down, do the work, that's what they knew. But for me, it became a detriment for me as I got into my adulthood, realizing that things cost. It's going to be reoccurring. You can't run from it. You're going to have to pay them bills every damn month. And I think that's it delayed me. It delayed me personally. And there's no excuse. Like I said, I'm grown now, but after being an adult now, I'm realizing how I should communicate with my children about money, and not just credit and debt and managing, but just money in general. And because, like, again, if we're just getting these kids stuff and they don't understand the value of a dollar, how it works, and uh, we're just going to be repeating the same things. And I think that's why we're having this conversation, is so that we can equip our future generations a lot better, so that they're not turning around, coming back to us and say, hey, man, y'all had the opportunity to get us off TikTok. Y'all had the opportunity to stop doing all them damn dances and showing your asses and luring women with jewelry, cars, and clothes. Y'all could have really stopped doing that. We would have stopped doing it. But that's another conversation. All right, number 5, resistance to change. Okay, so from new technologies to shifting cultural norms, older generations often resisted change. For example, the widespread skepticism about renewable energy delayed crucial climate action. Yeah, I don't know too much about renewable energy. I worked in the energy field, with Southern Company, and yeah, it's a real damn thing. And then honestly, our bonuses were determined off of the climate. So that portion of it, I'm pretty sure, had a lot to do with money, like the climate change, and renewable energies or whatnot. But as far as resistance to change, I don't know if you all have realized it, but there are some very wealthy. I mean, well, I speak for me. So for me, I'm in a tech world, so I'm always excited to see older black people in tech. And one of my main questions that I asked them, like, what made you get into technology so early? Like, they high up, director level management, managing director level, and I'm asking, like, what made you get into technology so early? And they was like, man, I just love computers. I like computers. Or it was, I seen this ad with this computer, and from that moment on. But for the most of us, our parents were scared of shit. And like my parents in the health field, in the education field, them folks, they didn't think that was sustainable. Like I said, they was scared of the technology. They didn't even want us to be staring in the computer too long at school. We at school, the school got the damn computers. They like, make sure you're not in the computer staring at it too long. Like, and these are educated people, and not just my parents that are educated, that kind of told other kids to not go into technology or whatnot, because their fear or their resistance to changing and understanding, like, what the world is going to be 20 years from now. So like in the 80s, 20 years from now, you had AOL dial-up, and none of my immediate family and none of my family's immediate like circle, none of them are in technology. And to be honest, not just talking about technology, because there's a lot of things that have changed since then, but just the resistance for like not understanding that just because you don't understand something, that doesn't mean that you should resist it or reject it. I'm big on learning. I'm big on teaching. So for me, if I don't understand something, I'm not gonna neglect it. I'm actually gonna embrace it, so that I can learn about it, so that, in this case, I can learn how to play the game if that's a game that I want to play. So that's what happened with me with technology. And like I said, the same thing with artificial intelligence. We're in that stage right now. Artificial intelligence has been out for a long time. But we're in that stage now where people are scared of it. They're resisting it. They're doing all this. They're talking about it as if it's going to take over. But ultimately, learn the game. Figure out what it is. And then you can figure out if you want to play the game or not. So that was number 5, resistance to change. Number 6, environmental neglect. So just quick to say, speaking of climate, the industrial boom of the mid-20th century prioritized economic growth over environmental sustainability. By the time Gen Z and millennials come of age, we were handed a planet on the brink of crisis. 100%. Economic growth versus environmental sustainability. Yeah, it's sad to say that we were given an opportunity to, uh, you know, maintain Earth, but yet all we wanted to do was line our pockets and seek out economic growth versus take care of the Earth. Take care of the Earth, and the Earth will take care of you. Take care of the people on the Earth, and the people on the Earth will take care of you. We live in a capitalistic world now, and that has nothing to do with us. We didn't do that. It had nothing to do with us. The previous generations. I think this might be one of the main failures. Number 6, you might be the only real failure that we still haven't got a real solution for, as far as the environmental neglect. Because even with like the housing crisis, and I'm in Georgia in Atlanta specifically, and short-term rentals are something that's more on the economic growth portion of it. Short-term rentals and condos and skyscrapers and high-rise condos. Yeah, that's something that's creating more homes, but yet the sustainability of the earth and the people that's on the earth aren't benefiting from these short-term rentals and sky rises and condos. And on the more personal side, it gets us away from community and that village. I know growing up in Alabama, we had I said community garden, but everybody had a garden in their backyard. Everybody was growing fruits, vegetables, some type of crop there in their backyard, to where, hey, if we running around the whole neighborhood or this whole zip code, and we going through the back of people's yards, we're eating the whole time. We're literally picking up berries, picking up apples, pears, peaches, apples. No matter where we went, the ground was, the ground was blessed. There's nowhere to grab a damn piece of fruit trying to walk from here to damn Buckhead right now. I probably won't see not one blueberry, blackberry, apple, pear, or orange. Nowhere. Because they'll rather sell it to us now for economic growth versus sustaining the earth, man. That's an actual failure. They did fail us on that. They didn't just lie. They failed us. So that was number 6, environmental neglect. Number 7, passivity on systemic inequality. While progress was made in areas like civil rights, many older generations avoid deeper conversations about racism, sexism, and other inequities. They left us with systems that still perpetrate these issues. Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna have to get a panel to talk about these things, because y'all gonna think I'm the one that's trying to bash the older generation. I'm not trying to bash them, but when it comes to being passive with the systemic inequality, I don't think it was passive. I think they went about it in a how can I put it? They went about it their way, but they didn't really get any real. No real progress was made. I say real progress. There definitely was progress from civil rights, but hip hop had a good deal in what happened after the civil rights movement in regards to like the radical Black Power movement, or just having PE and raw bass and all. I think that. What am I saying? I can't think of his name right now, but I see his face. I cannot think of his name. But basically, like, I don't think they was being as passive in that way, but it didn't really progress us or catapult us until the day to have a sense of self, or have a sense of culture separate from our other counterparts that we just integrated with. That's the portion where it's like, okay, we got integrated so that we can become just like them, versus being radical within the integration and stating that we do want to be equal. We want to have equalities all around the board, yet we're still separate in our dynamics and our culture. And as far as our ownership, hip hop, sorry to say it again, like I said, it wasn't as progressive. Like they did something, but really own none of the culture. And it's sad. It's sad. I want to go into that one as well. Now, this is really good. This is really good. I think that all of these could have their own episodes of videos, and we probably will do that. All right, so let me go and get this done in number 8. So number 8, unrealistic expectations of stability. Generations before us grew up believing in the American dream, a promise of stability if you worked hard enough. But today, economic and social instability make that dream feel more like a myth than reality. Yeah, man. I believe that, you get more for you used to get more for less back then. Now you get less for more. Like they say one of the biggest houses I lived in, I mean, it's 5 bedrooms, 3 stories, 2 stories, 5 bedrooms. I mean, really big bedrooms for kids, a huge master suite, and not just beautiful floor plan. We had a backyard, nice size backyard, 2-car garage, and the home was maybe 4 years old. And I think that home might have cost about $200,000. And I think the mortgage might be $1,200 a month. And growing up in something like that, like as a child, a teenager growing up in something like that, you're like, damn, I know when I get older, my house is gonna be 10 times bigger than this. I'm gonna have 6 garages. My backyard gonna be lavish. It's gonna be bigger than this. Pretty much, you already have what you have based off how your parents take care of you. So that, I mean, if you're in the projects or if you're in the in apartments, you still gonna want more. So like, even just because I was in the big house didn't mean like, okay, when I get old, I'm gonna have a house the same size. I'm gonna have a yard the same. I can't wait till that. We want more. Man, that goddamn house worth $700,000 now. $700,000. The mortgage is about $3,600. That's if you're putting that 20% that 20% down payment down. And then just off everything, damn bag of chips. I remember bag of chips. I ain't even talking about the big Lay's bag of chips that used to be $1.49. I'm just talking about the 50-cent bag of chips. They used to be a quarter. And now they 59 cents. 2 for $1. Some of you find 2 for $1.19. But back then, growing up, I had damn McDonald's hamburger, not cheeseburger. McDonald's hamburger on a Wednesday was 25 cents. We get 10 hamburgers, maybe 5 cheeseburgers, because them probably like 59 cents, little extra cheese slice. We get 10 of them. It's me, my mom, my daddy, my brother, my sister. Everybody ate good off one large fry, because large fry was an actual large fry. Nowadays, man, if I want to get 10 hamburgers, 5 cheeseburgers, and a large fry, probably $40, $50. Ooh, my bad. Damn. How much a hamburger is from McDonald's? Just a plain ass hamburger. I don't know, but it said that total is gonna come up about $40, $50. So like, just that's we got to think of, like I said, going back through all of them, like we got to think about all that when we want to create families, we want to have children, we want to live at, as far as the metropolitan or the countryside, and then whether we're gonna rent or we're gonna own. Like, these are real conversations that we're having to have personally and with whomever we're with. So it's unrealistic expectation of stability, and we get that from our, like I said, it's a failure, but yet, like I said, they didn't know they didn't know that it was going to look like this one day, and that's okay though. So the solutions for a better future, obviously, I said they failed us. They did not fail us. They succeeded in raising us. They succeeded in giving us an opportunity to be privileged enough so that we didn't have to endure what they endured, or make the tough decisions that they had to make. We don't have to make those decisions. Yeah, we are faced with new challenges, but yet the things that they had to go through, we don't have to repeat those things. It's a new day and age. It's different now, but yet we are grateful that they were able to sustain a lifestyle to take care of us, our siblings, our cousins, whomever. So get that out of the way. But we do want to bring some solutions into the newer generation. Like, how do we break this cycle? So we had 8 ways on how they might have failed us. We're gonna say 8 ways on how we can, better the legacy for generations to come. So in order, so we want to redefine success holistically. So let's teach the next generation that success isn't just about money or milestones. It's about fulfillment, health, and making a difference. And if I wanted to add, sum that up, is love and service. Giving love and being of service to others holistically. I think that will heal the world. That will heal a lot of trauma holistically. And honestly, helping others and giving love, it fuels you and actually makes you full and feels like you're successful. You should know that you are successful. So let's normalize conversations about different paths to success, whether it's entrepreneurship, art, or trade. So like any of those non-traditional paths, we need to embrace it for our younger generation. And even if our older generation, even us current, embrace people that want to make changes out of what they used to do. Like, they should have a safe place to come to and say, yeah, I know I was doing this for years, decades, or whatnot. I'm looking to just make bowls. I just want to do pottery and ceramic. I went to a pottery class and I actually was very happy. I mean, it felt like this was something I wanted to do. We should embrace it and give them opportunities to where they can be valued, and we can add value to those things. So number 2, we want to encourage boldness and question power structures. So again, I'm still hesitant on it, but I still learn from Gen Z. I'm learning from Gen Z every day. So I ain't gonna say question power structure, but I would say question everything. Whether that's in the moment, real time questioning with verbiage, or like, I got a question. To, if you're dealing with someone that's giving instruction or direction, question everything. But for the most part, for yourself, the media, just information in general. Don't just take what's given and say, okay, all right, no matter what it says, I'm just going to do it. Question it. Find the origin of it. Ask a question why. Like, why are we doing this? Is there a better route to this? Or is this how it's always been done? So I don't think we have to teach our younger people how to speak up. I think they do a good job. But as far as like what matters, we do need to be able to let them know that certain things you do need to speak up on. And if you don't, it's going to continue to stay the same. Number 3, promote work-life balance. So yeah, like I said earlier, we're going to promote work-life balance in this day and age because a lot of the jobs now are autonomous or work from home, and we're going into a new era with artificial intelligence. So where you're able to do less or think less, which is that's the most scary portion, to thinking less. But for the most part, you have more time to spend time with family, or go do that hobby that you've been putting off. Go get your workout in, or go pick your vegetables. Go out to that farm that you've been wanting to go out to. So you pick your own vegetables, pick your fruit or whatnot. All right. And just prioritizing the self-care and setting boundaries around it. I think that's a huge thing for our children moving forward, and for us. Number 4, so teaching financial literacy early. So we know some schools are offering it now. Like I said, as we've grown into the newer age, into the millennium, certain schools have implemented some financial literacy courses or programs or conventions, even at that. I know I spoke at a financial literacy course for Clayton County. It was a cohesive deal. They had the students and the parents. The parents and the students both was in the financial literacy seminars throughout 2-day period. So, like I said, our parents lied to us, but it was there. They didn't get lied to. They weren't really lying to us. They thought it was true. But as they know now, damn, they really was told a lie, and they regurgitated that lie in which they thought was the truth. So bringing the students and the parents together gets us on the same page, and it educates the parents so that the student can't come back to the mom or the dad and say, hey, I've learned this. This is what I think, we should do. And the parents like, hey, do as a child's supposed to do. I know you've gotten grown or whatnot. You think you know everything. You can't tell me nothing. I raised you. No, we both got this information at the same time. So you heard what I heard. So we need to practice this. And I think that's vital on teaching them financial literacy early, but yet doing it with parents and students, or like I say, older generations and younger generations. It's not too late to learn or even just get the information. Doesn't mean you have to do anything with it, but just so that they know that you're not trying to pretty much shun them for the things that they might have done and not done. I think that's important. All right. Number 5, embracing change and innovation. Like I stated before, artificial intelligence has been around for years, been around for decades. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to get stronger, faster, and better. So embrace it, learn new skills, understand that. Not going to say all jobs going to be gone. No, not all jobs going to be gone. All jobs will be transformed. And if you don't have those skills, you're not looking to gain those skills, whether if it's technology or whether if it's communication, activations or hardware, whatever it is that you need to learn in regards to whatever job you're doing now, you want to have a career in, you need to skill up. You need to up their skill set so that you can embrace these new changes and be a part of the innovation versus, being so far behind to where pretty much you are the product being sold to in which you will be consuming. So embrace the change and share stories of how adapting to change has led to growth and success, like I stated. Just continue to have that conversation. Number 6, become a champion of environmental responsibility. Like I stated, I'm big on, honestly, out of circumstance, I'm big on, if I don't have to drive, I'm not going to drive. It's not that I don't admit, I'm big on emissions and not polluting the air. Now, I'm not gun-ho on that. I'm not a big activist on that. But I do know one car off the road does help. That's why they're having that whole electric car boom, in which could cause a whole other problems, but yet just wherever you see fit. I mean, if you walking past some trash, you walk past that trash every damn day and ain't nobody pick up that trash, and it's the world, the earth you living on, and you still ain't pick up that trash. Like, let's just start showing examples of that, to the younger generation. Like, they don't have to wait for someone to come and do the dirty work when this is the earth that you live on. This is the world that you live in. So embracing those, the champion attitude as far as the environment, and also like renewable energies and having more sustainable consumerism. That's big for me. Like consumerism now isn't sustainable. People want to buy stuff all day. You got cardboard, plastic, shipping labels, and then the actual product. People have their own docking station, their own, shipping address. That's basically what they like, a shipyard in a sense, not an actual ship, but like a dock. You know what I mean? Like a warehouse dock, because they get so many damn deliveries throughout the week. And then, they just continue to buy stuff. And I'm not trying to say it's not cool to buy stuff online. It is, but the consumerism, it's not sustainable. That's something that we need to talk about a little bit more. And we will, just as well as we've talked about these failures. And what I say, we can have episodes for each of those failures. I believe this is one of the solutions that we can have an episode about. As far as champion environmental responsibility, that's pretty big, and it goes towards the consumerism portion for my focus. All right. Number 7, committing to social justice and equity. So let's not leave the hard conversations for others. For example, teach children about historical injustices and how they can be a part of the solution. Our children, they know little about civil rights and who the hell Martin Luther King Jr. is. They know little about it. And then not only that, just your own family history and what your own family had to go through systematically, or the injustice that within your own family. So you got to have those conversations. Those stories unsaid will continue that tradition of trauma. It will continue to go on and on and on and on and on until we have those conversations, so that the younger generation can be empowered like I am. Like I said, I'm empowered based off of my elders and ancestors. Like I said, I believe I am them, working for them. So in that case, I'm doing something about it now, and just committing to that conversation. All right. And the last one here, the last one is to model resilience and transparency. Same thing, same thing. Just sharing your struggles and how you overcame them. Teach problem solving skills and emphasize that setbacks are a part of life. We're gonna have a hard time dealing with these kids that grew up on the internet, social media, when it comes to the consumerism, the bullying, and also the struggles that they face in the real world. Because living on the internet is blissful, unless you're reading the negative comments. But when you get in the real world, this shit hard out here, and we have to express to them that that's a part of life. The struggle is what makes you stronger. Yet you do not have to give up. You have to be resilient and seek help, and it doesn't have to be formal help, but ask those questions. And I think we need to preach that to the younger generation, to let them know that they can come to us for that transparency that they need. I think we're all open to helping the younger generation, if you're listening. So that'll be my call to action, and say, hey, share those personal stories of resilience to inspire the younger generation to keep moving forward, because they will struggle. They will have a hard time in this real world once they get off the socials. All right. So just to close up, I'm getting close to the hour mark. I didn't want to be on here too long, but 8 failures and 8 solutions took a little minute. But as we stated in the beginning, each generation has its strengths and flaws. The beauty lies in our ability to learn and grow from them. We have to do better by addressing those problems. Even though we've inherited problems and, like I said, inherited lies, because they were lies to them in which they thought were the truth. Even though we inherited those issues, we should be implementing these solutions so we can create a future that reflects the best of who we are. Now, let's commit to building a legacy of courage, compassion, and progress. And what steps will we take today to ensure that the next generation thrives? So I appreciate, you all listening. I know it might be tough to just hear me go on and on and on. Like I said, some of these 16 talking points that I have probably be their own individual episodes, in which I'll bring on a teammate or a colleague or peer of mine, a close peer group, because we have these conversations outside of this setting, just so that we can get more points of views on it and perspective. So like I said, thank you for watching this video, the virtual Gen Dive episode 5, 8 ways previous generations failed us. I should have said 8 ways previous generations lied to us, because they were lied to, so they thought it was the truth. So I might just make that a whole nother video and see if that one gets some clicks and likes on that one. So like I said, you can always watch this video back. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe, whatever. I'm Barnes, and be well.